All right, we're about to dive into a personal story from Bhutan that is so grand, so unbelievable, it feels more like a national event than a private memory. This is a tale that really pushes the limits of what you'd think is possible.
I mean, that quote right there tells you everything you need to know. This story is so incredible that even the man who lived it, Ranjit Basnet Chhetri, was reluctant to share it. He knew people just wouldn't believe him. So this is Ranjit's account, as he told it back in 2011 when he was 74 years old. He's looking way, way back to a single moment in his childhood that honestly sounds more like a myth than a real memory. And this is where the story gets really wild. Because in 2011, Ranjit was living a very simple, solitary life in a refugee camp. But the memory he carries, well, it takes us all the way back to 1944, to an event of almost unimaginable wealth and splendor. Now, at the heart of all this spectacle, there's a really deep personal conflict. Because for the 8-year-old Ranjit, this wasn't some fairy tale. It was the sudden, jarring end of his childhood. It was his own simple wishes up against the crushing weight of family tradition. You can just feel the ache in those words, can't you? He wasn't some excited groom. He was a little kid who just wanted to play. It's such a basic human desire, and it was being taken away from him. And this really lays out the power dynamic. On one side, you have Ranjit, just wanting to be a kid. And on the other, you have his mother's absolute insistence, a force so powerful that even his father, a very powerful man himself, eventually gave in. Back then, it wasn't even a contest. Okay, so what exactly makes this story so hard to believe? Well, it's the sheer scale of it all. Let's just look at the numbers behind this thing, because they are truly staggering. The wedding cost about 900 rupees. Now, you might hear that and think, that's not a lot. But you gotta remember, this is 1944 in rural Bhutan. His father called it an absolutely enormous sum of money, especially when you consider most things they needed were just grown or available for free. Now try to picture the procession. We're not talking about a few cars. We're talking about a line of over 150 horses with 9 different groups of musicians playing. Ranjit said it took hours just for everyone to get out of his family's courtyard. It was a spectacle beyond anything you can imagine. And the food, oh my gosh, the food. Over the 4 days of celebrating, the guests ate through nearly 11 quintals of rice. That's more than 1,000 kilograms. Just think about the logistics of feeding that many people for that long. It's mind-blowing. And just look at this list. 20 goats, a massive buffalo, and enough gunpowder for over 100 celebratory gun salutes. This wasn't just a wedding feast, okay? This was an event that could feed and entertain a small army. And to put it all in perspective, Ranjit remembered another wedding that was famous in the area for being huge. Well, at that one, they only went through less than half the amount of rice. This just shows you the insane, unbelievable scale of his own celebration. So the big question is, how was any of this even possible? And the answer isn't just about money. It's about the incredible, overwhelming power of one man, Ranjit's father. You see, his dad, Mahasur Chhetri, wasn't just some rich guy. He was a political heavyweight. The man had a direct line to the prime minister, and it was his personal influence that turned what should have been a family party into a massive, you better be there kind of event. And here's the kicker. That huge crowd wasn't just friends and family celebrating. A lot of people showed up simply because it was safer to be seen there than to be noticed as absent. It was about showing loyalty, maybe getting a chance to ask a favor, and just staying on his good side. And if you want a perfect snapshot of his father's authority, get this. The bride's family ran out of food for those 150 horses. The local villagers were getting angry because the horses were eating their crops. Did Ranjit's father negotiate? No. He allegedly pulled out a knife and threatened them. His word was law, period. So let's jump forward in time, because this is where that incredible grand past comes crashing into Ranjit's present. The story didn't end in 1944, not by a long shot. Its echoes reached into a future that nobody at that party could have possibly seen coming. And here it is, the most shocking contrast of all. The little 8-year-old groom, the center of attention at one of Bhutan's grandest weddings ever, was now, in 2011, living all by himself in a refugee camp. All that grandeur was gone, replaced by a quiet, simple solitude. When you see it on a timeline, you can really feel the arc of this incredible life. It starts with this one spectacular, unbelievable moment. Then decades of life with the bride he met that day. And it ends with loss and the quiet life of a refugee, holding on to this one giant memory. And in the end, that's what it all comes down to, isn't it? After all the feasts, all the horses, all the power, and all the loss, the only thing that's really left is the story itself. A memory that is just overwhelming, totally unbelievable, and at its very core, just deeply, deeply human. Ranjit's story really leaves you with a powerful question. It just makes you wonder, what other unbelievable histories are hidden in the lives of the people all around us? What stories of unimaginable pasts are living on as these quiet human memories?